Cookies feel like comfort, sweet, familiar, a simple treat with tea. But for seniors, that innocent bite could be hiding serious danger. From trans fats that clog arteries to sodium levels that spike blood pressure overnight, some of Canada's most trusted cookie brands are quietly putting your health at risk. Today, we are exposing 9 cookie brands you need to avoid. Coming in at number 9, we have Dad's Cookies. Dad's Cookies. The name alone feels like a warm memory. A brand that has been sitting on Canadian shelves for over 70 years, promising that same homemade taste your father might have enjoyed. The packaging shows wholesome imagery. The price is friendly. Seniors reach for these expecting a classic, reliable treat. Walk into any grocery store in Ontario, Manitoba, or British Columbia, and you will find these familiar packages stacked neatly on the shelves. But here is what Dad's Cookies does not want you to think about. Take a close look at the ingredient list on their oatmeal cookies. You will find modified palm oil sitting near the top. Palm oil, when modified and processed, can contain trans fats that do not appear on the label due to Canadian labeling loopholes. According to Health Canada, trans fats increase LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, and decrease HDL cholesterol, the protective kind. For seniors already managing cholesterol with statins or other medications, this is a direct threat to cardiovascular stability. The Heart and Stroke Foundation has warned repeatedly that even small amounts of trans fats can significantly increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. And the sodium. A serving of Dad's chocolate chip cookies contains over 130 milligrams of sodium. That might sound small, but consider this. Most seniors eat more than one serving. 3 or 4 cookies with your afternoon tea, and suddenly you have consumed a significant portion of your daily sodium limit. The Heart and Stroke Foundation of Canada recommends seniors keep sodium under 1,500 milligrams per day. Every hidden spike matters when you are managing blood pressure or taking diuretics. Studies show that approximately 80% of Canadian seniors consume more sodium than recommended, and hidden sources like cookies contribute to this crisis every single day. The texture of these cookies has also changed over the years. Longtime customers have reported a stale, cardboard-like quality even when packages are freshly opened. Some have described an off-putting chemical aftertaste that was never there decades ago. That is the taste of cost-cutting. That is the taste of substituting real ingredients with cheaper, processed alternatives. Dad's promises nostalgia. What they deliver is a product reformulated for profit margins, not for your health. The betrayal is quiet, but it is real. Why do you think the same companies that fund heart-healthy studies are the ones selling ultra-processed junk? At number 8, we have Mr. Christie. Mr. Christie. For generations, this brand told Canadians that good cookies deserve a good glass of milk. The jingle is burned into the memory of anyone who grew up watching Canadian television. Chips Ahoy, Oreos, Fudgio. These names are synonymous with childhood treats. Parents trusted them, grandparents trusted them. But that trust has been systematically betrayed over the past 2 decades. Mr. Christie is not the brand it used to be. Let us start with Chips Ahoy. The original recipe has been quietly altered multiple times over the past 2 decades. Today's version contains high fructose corn syrup in some formulations, along with artificial flavors that were never part of the original recipe. High fructose corn syrup has been linked in numerous studies to insulin resistance, fatty liver disease, and increased visceral fat, the dangerous fat that wraps around internal organs. A 2020 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants who consumed high fructose corn syrup daily showed significantly higher markers for metabolic dysfunction within just 6 weeks. For seniors with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, this is not just an indulgence. It is a metabolic risk hidden inside a familiar blue package. Every bite pushes blood sugar higher and makes management more difficult. Then there are the Oreos. The iconic sandwich cookie contains palm oil, which we have already discussed, but also contains a concerning amount of sugar per serving. A single serving of 3 Oreos contains 14 grams of sugar. That is nearly 3 teaspoons. Imagine spooning that directly into your tea and swallowing it. That is what happens inside your body when you eat just 3 cookies. And who eats just 3? The Canadian Diabetes Association reports that nearly 3 million Canadians live with diabetes, and another 6 million have prediabetes. Many of those are seniors. Every gram of hidden sugar accelerates the progression of this disease and increases the risk of complications, including nerve damage, kidney failure, and vision loss. and the texture has degraded. Customers across Canada have reported that Oreos now crumble too easily, that the cream filling tastes more synthetic, that the overall experience feels cheaper. That is because it is cheaper. Manufacturing has shifted priorities from quality to volume. Mr. Christie promised good cookies. What they deliver is a reformulated product designed to maximize shelf life and minimize cost, regardless of the health consequences for their most loyal customers. Most people never learn the truth about what is really in these packages. Stick around. We will break it down at the end of the video. Now at number 7, we have Voortman Bakery. Voortman Bakery. Based in Burlington, Ontario, this brand has positioned itself as a slightly healthier alternative. Their packaging often highlights claims like no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, and no high fructose corn syrup. For seniors trying to make better choices, these labels feel like permission to indulge. The company markets itself directly to health-conscious consumers, appearing at wellness fairs and promoting its products as suitable for diabetics. But Voortman's promises do not tell the whole story. Their sugar-free cookies, marketed directly to diabetics and health-conscious consumers, contain maltitol. Maltitol is a sugar alcohol that technically allows products to claim sugar-free status. But here is what the packaging does not warn you about. Maltitol has a glycemic index of 35 to 52, depending on the form. That is not zero. That is not negligible. For diabetics monitoring blood glucose, this can cause unexpected spikes that throw off insulin management. One endocrinologist in Toronto reported that she has seen multiple patients whose blood sugar control deteriorated after they started eating so-called sugar-free cookies. Worse, maltitol is notorious for causing gastrointestinal distress. Bloating, cramping, and diarrhea are common side effects, especially for seniors with sensitive digestive systems. 1 or 2 cookies might seem harmless, but for someone with irritable bowel syndrome or a history of digestive issues, the consequences can be deeply uncomfortable and embarrassing. Nobody wants to deal with those symptoms after enjoying what was supposed to be a safe treat. The texture of Voortman cookies has also drawn complaints. Many customers report a waxy mouthfeel, a telltale sign of cheap fats used in production. That coating on your tongue is not butter. It is processed oil designed to mimic richness without delivering actual quality. You can feel it linger long after the cookie is gone. Voortman promises a healthier choice. What they deliver is clever marketing that exploits the desperation of seniors trying to manage chronic conditions. The fine print hides the truth. What is the worst cookie you have ever opened? Drop it below. At number 6, we have Dare Foods. Dare Foods, another Canadian legacy brand, headquartered in Kitchener, Ontario. Their cookies have been on shelves since 1892. That is over 130 years of history. Brands like Bear Paws and Simple Pleasures carry the weight of generational trust. When you see that maple leaf on the packaging, you expect Canadian quality and Canadian values. But history does not guarantee safety. Bear Paws, marketed heavily toward families, are often consumed by grandparents buying treats for grandchildren and sneaking a few for themselves. The problem is that these cookies contain glucose fructose, which is Canada's term for high fructose corn syrup. The name change is deliberate. It sounds less alarming, but the metabolic impact is identical. It is the same ingredient, just wearing a different mask. For seniors, glucose fructose contributes to fatty liver disease, insulin resistance, and increased triglycerides. A study published in the Journal of Hepatology found that excessive fructose consumption can lead to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in as little as 2 weeks of high intake. Seniors already taking medications metabolized by the liver, statins, blood thinners, pain relievers, are putting additional strain on an organ that may already be compromised. The liver has to process both the medication and the sugar, and eventually something gives. Dare's Simple Pleasures line promises simpler ingredients, but a closer look reveals modified milk ingredients, mono and diglycerides, and natural flavor, a term that can legally hide dozens of chemical compounds. Natural does not mean safe. Natural does not mean transparent. It just means the chemicals came from something that was once alive. The texture of Dare cookies has also shifted. Longtime customers have noted that the chocolate coating on Bear Paws feels thinner, that the overall cookie is smaller, and that the taste is sweeter but emptier. That is the flavor of cost reduction passed off as the same trusted product. Dare Foods promises heritage and quality, What they deliver is a product reformulated for modern profit margins, riding on the trust of seniors who remember when Canadian meant something different. At number 5, we have Leclerc. Leclerc, a Quebec-based company that has been making biscuits since 1905. Their celebration butter cookies are a staple at Canadian holiday gatherings. The blue tin is iconic. Seniors associate it with family, with tradition, with something worth passing down. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every family gathering seems to have one of those tins sitting on the table. But what Leclerc passes down today is not what it used to be. Their celebration cookies contain palm oil, glucose fructose, and artificial flavor. For a product marketed as premium butter cookies, the actual butter content is disappointingly low. What you taste is processed fat engineered to mimic the richness of real dairy. The golden color that makes these cookies look so inviting does not come from butter. It comes from additives designed to fool your eyes. The sodium content is also concerning. A serving of 6 small cookies contains nearly 150 milligrams of sodium. 6 cookies is easy to eat without thinking. Before you know it, you have consumed 3 or 4 servings. Nearly half a gram of sodium hidden in what seemed like a light treat. For seniors managing hypertension, this sodium load can trigger fluid retention, increased blood pressure, and added strain on the heart. The Heart and Stroke Foundation warns that most Canadians consume more than double the recommended sodium intake. Hidden sources like cookies contribute to this crisis silently. You do not feel the damage happening. You do not notice until your next blood pressure reading comes back higher than expected. The texture of Leclerc cookies has also drawn criticism. Some consumers report a gritty, sandy quality that was never present in older formulations. Others describe an oily residue left on fingers and lips. That residue is the cheap fat content betraying the premium price. Leclerc promises tradition. What they deliver is a product that has drifted far from its origins, cashing in on nostalgia while quietly compromising your health. Don't go yet. The solution comes at the very end, and it could change how you shop forever. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free, and it means you will never miss these exposés. Coming in at number 4, we have President's Choice. President's Choice, Loblaw's in-house brand that revolutionized Canadian grocery shopping. The decadent chocolate chip cookie is legendary, marketed as the cookie that proved store brands could compete with national names. For decades, Canadians believed they were getting premium quality at a reasonable price. The marketing was brilliant, the trust was real. But competition does not mean safety. The decadent chocolate chip cookie contains palm oil, glucose fructose, and soy lecithin. A single cookie contains 7 grams of sugar and 110 milligrams of sodium. The recommended serving is 2 cookies, but the package contains far more. Most people eat 4, 5, or 6 in a sitting. That is nearly 20 grams of sugar and 300 milligrams of sodium before you realize what has happened. By the time the package is empty, you have consumed what your body will spend days trying to process. President's Choice also relies on no-name manufacturing contracts that shift depending on cost. This means the product you buy today may not be made in the same facility or with the same quality control as the product you bought last year. Inconsistency is built into the business model. One batch might be acceptable, the next might be substandard. You have no way of knowing until you taste it. For seniors with diabetes or heart disease, this unpredictability is dangerous. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. And when formulations shift without warning, you cannot trust that yesterday's safe indulgence is still safe today. Loblaws faced significant controversy in recent years over bread price fixing, admitting to a 14-year conspiracy that cost Canadian consumers millions of dollars. If they were willing to deceive customers on something as basic as bread, what does that say about their commitment to transparency in other products? The pattern of corporate behavior tells you everything you need to know. President's Choice promises premium quality at a reasonable price. What they deliver is a product optimized for profit, produced under opaque conditions, and marketed to seniors who deserve better than corporate doublespeak. Do you think recalls are accidents, or just the ones they actually got caught on? At number 3, we have Great Value. Great Value, Walmart Canada's store brand, positioned as the budget-friendly option for families watching every dollar. For seniors on fixed incomes, the price difference is real. A package of great value cookies can cost half as much as name brands. When your pension only stretches so far, those savings add up. The appeal is understandable, but the savings come at a cost you cannot see on the receipt. Great value cookies are manufactured by third-party contractors, whose identities are not disclosed on the packaging. This lack of transparency means you have no way of knowing where your cookies were actually made, under what conditions, or with what quality controls. You are trusting a faceless corporation to protect your health, and they have given you nothing to justify that trust. The ingredient list is alarming. Great value chocolate chip cookies contain high oleic canola oil, mono and diglycerides, sodium bicarbonate, and artificial flavor. The sugar content rivals name brands. The sodium content exceeds many competitors. What you save in dollars, you pay for in health risk. Every cheap ingredient represents a corner cut, a standard lowered, a decision made to prioritize profit over your well-being. For seniors managing chronic conditions, great value cookies offer no value at all. The hidden fats can interfere with cholesterol management. The sodium can spike blood pressure. The artificial ingredients can interact unpredictably with medications. Your pharmacist cannot account for ingredients that are not clearly disclosed. Consumer reports from across Canada have documented quality inconsistencies with great value products. Stale texture on freshly opened packages. Off-tastes that suggest improper storage. Visible discoloration that hints at shelf life stretched beyond reason. Some customers have reported finding cookies that appeared to have been moisture damaged despite sealed packaging. Great value promises affordability. What they deliver is a gamble. Every package is a roll of the dice on whether your savings will cost you more than money. Ever noticed how these brands keep recalling but never changing? Now at number 2, we have Compliments. Compliments, Sobeys store brand, positioned as the everyday choice for Canadian households. The branding is friendly, the prices are competitive. Seniors shopping at Sobeys, IGA, or Safeway encounter these cookies regularly. The packaging suggests warmth and reliability. The name itself implies approval, but Compliments cookies deserve closer scrutiny. Like other store brands, Compliments relies on contract manufacturing with limited transparency. The cookies you buy may be produced in different facilities at different times, leading to inconsistent quality and unpredictable ingredient sourcing. What you bought last month and what you buy today could be completely different products wearing the same label. Their chocolate chip cookies contain palm oil, glucose, fructose, and natural flavor, the same problematic trio we have seen throughout this list. The sugar content is high. The sodium is substantial. The health claims are minimal because there is nothing healthy to claim. The ingredients read like a chemistry experiment rather than a recipe your grandmother would recognize. Sobeys has faced its own controversies. In 2023, the company was criticized for food waste practices and pricing strategies that disproportionately affected low-income Canadians. For seniors on fixed incomes, every dollar matters. But saving money on cookies that damage your health is not saving at all. It is deferred payment with interest charged in hospital visits. The money you save at the checkout counter gets paid back at the pharmacy and the doctor's office. The texture of Compliments cookies has drawn mixed reviews. Some batches are acceptable. Others are stale, crumbly, or oddly flavored. That inconsistency is the signature of a brand that prioritizes cost over quality. You never know what you are going to get. Compliments promises everyday value. What they deliver is everyday risk wrapped in friendly packaging. And finally, at number 1, we have No Name. No Name, the original Canadian discount brand. Launched by Loblaws in 1978. The plain yellow packaging became iconic, a statement that you did not need fancy labels to get acceptable products. For generations, budget-conscious Canadians trusted that simple packaging meant simple ingredients and honest value. But acceptable is not the same as safe. No-name cookies represent the bottom tier of the cookie market. The ingredients are the cheapest available. The manufacturing standards are the minimum required by law. The quality control is whatever contract manufacturers deem sufficient. When you buy No Name, you are buying the result of every possible cost being cut. The ingredient list on No Name chocolate chip cookies includes palm oil, glucose, fructose, artificial flavor, and modified milk ingredients. Every red flag we have discussed in this video is present in a single package. It is like they designed a product specifically to include every problematic ingredient we have covered. The sodium content is among the highest of any cookie brand in Canada. The sugar content is excessive. The fat profile is dominated by processed oils with no nutritional benefit. For the human body, these cookies offer nothing but harm, wrapped in a tempting package. For seniors managing diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, or kidney function, no-name cookies are a concentrated dose of everything your doctor has warned you about. The low price is not a bargain. It is a trap. The damage these ingredients do to your body will cost far more than what you saved at the store. Consumer complaints about no-name cookies are extensive. Stale texture, chemical aftertaste, visible irregularities in chocolate chip distribution, packages that seem tampered with or improperly sealed. These are not isolated incidents. They are patterns that reveal systemic neglect. The company knows. They simply do not care enough to change. Loblaws, the parent company, has demonstrated repeatedly that profit takes priority over consumer welfare. From bread price fixing to aggressive inflation tactics, this is a corporation that views Canadian shoppers, especially seniors, as revenue sources, not people deserving protection. Your health is not their concern. No name promises simplicity and savings. What they deliver is the lowest possible quality that Canadian regulations will allow. For seniors who have spent a lifetime trusting Canadian brands, this betrayal is the deepest. Now for the first safe option you can actually trust. Meatle Cookies. This brand, available at health food stores and select grocery chains across Canada, offers cookies made with organic ingredients, no palm oil, no high fructose corn syrup, and no artificial flavors. Their ginger snaps and vanilla snaps are sweetened with organic cane sugar in controlled amounts. The sodium content is minimal. The ingredient list is short enough to read in one breath. You can pronounce every word. You can picture every ingredient. For seniors managing chronic conditions, Meatle offers transparency. The ingredients are real. The sourcing is documented. The manufacturing follows organic standards that exceed baseline Canadian requirements. When you buy Meatle, you know exactly what you are putting in your body. The texture is crisp without being hard. The flavor is genuine without being overwhelming. This is what cookies used to taste like before. Cost-cutting became the industry standard. Your grandparents would recognize these as real cookies. Meatle does not promise magic. They promise honesty. And for seniors who have been betrayed by brand after brand, honesty is worth every penny of the slightly higher price. Available at stores like Whole Foods, some Loblaws locations, and online retailers across Canada. The second recommendation is Back to Nature Cookies. Back to Nature Cookies. This brand focuses on simple, recognizable ingredients without synthetic additives. Their classic creme cookies offer the sandwich cookie experience without the palm oil, artificial colors, or high fructose corn syrup found in mainstream alternatives. If you love Oreos but hate what they do to your body, this is your answer. The sugar content is moderate. The sodium is controlled. The fats come from sources that do not carry the same cardiovascular risks as heavily processed palm oil. Your heart will thank you for making the switch. For seniors seeking an occasional treat without the health anxiety, Back to Nature delivers. The ingredient transparency allows you to make informed decisions. The quality control maintains consistency across batches. You get the same product every time. Available at Whole Foods, Loblaws, and select locations, and online retailers. Back to Nature proves that safe cookies exist if you know where to look. The challenge has always been finding them amidst the marketing noise. Now you know where to find them and what to look for. Not all cookies are created equal. Some can quietly damage your heart, spike your blood pressure, and interfere with medications you depend on. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.